Hey there guys, before I start I just want to say the camera's playing up. See, like, when I hold it like this it seems to be working. I don't know what's going on, but when I let it go it becomes all, I'm not using effects or nothing, it's just the camera's just, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just playing up, so take no notice of that. Anyway, today's the 6th of February, beginning of the third month, onto the 90 days that we're going to get to. We're going to get there, day 67 I believe, so 23 days, get there in no time, and then 90 days will be completed, but it's not going to end there, but it's just a good feat to get under the belt. 90 days. Last night almost had a wet dream, said no, fought it off, so I'm pleased with that, and that's been over 2 weeks since I last had one, which is fantastic. And I've got back into the whole reading up about no fap and semen retention, the benefits and such things, to re-motivate myself. As I was talking in the previous videos, I was sort of like doing things I shouldn't be doing, sort of like lost the motivation, was sort of slipping up. So I'm back, getting myself re-motivated to continue and remember why I'm on this journey. That's what I always say, if you feel like giving in or giving up, remind yourself why you're on the journey. And your mind can trick you into thinking you want to do something, but then after you've done it you're going to feel guilty and bad. So don't do it. Always remember why you're doing what you're doing, and you don't want to mess it up. It's not what you really want. You might be having tough times, you might want to slip up, but that's not what you deep down want. Yes, a quick shift to the USB ports, and we've got the camera working properly again. Fantastic. Anyways, one of the aspects that really interests me in the whole semen retention no fap, is like the health benefits. In one of my earlier videos, when I mentioned I was getting all these sort of moles, like these bumps in my arms, and they were coming up on other parts of my arms and itching and stuff, and I was really concerned as to what it was. When you get things like that on your skin, you sort of worry, innit? You feel like, Jesus, this skin cancer or something. But anyway, a week or two into no fap, they just disappeared, and that's when I knew there's got to be healing benefits to this, definitely. And when you read things up, I got this forum up, talking about the blood. The average volume of semen is 2.7 milliliters. So you times it into 40, it probably is around 110 milliliters each time you shoot, counting as blood. Each time you went to blood donation, you probably donate 470 mil, and a nurse would say you need around 8 weeks to recover. So from a biochemic guy, so I don't know if this guy's a biochemic guy and he's just working all the maths of it out, but it takes around 8 weeks for the donor's body to replenish all the formed elements. Erythrocytes, leukocytes and plaquettes lost during donation. At the end you would realise that why you feel so tired, lol. Each time you shoot it needs 8 to 4 equals 2 weeks to recover. If you fap 4 or 5 times a week or day, please go see a doctor afterwards. A guy fapped 42 times, died at home, and you fapped once and it took 42 weeks to recover, lol. So this guy's English ain't the best, but you know what he's trying to say. So apparently a guy's fapped 42 times and died at home. Well, I don't know how he managed to do that, but he's dead now. Now this I believe this is true, the whole blood thing, because just think that that's going to create a baby and stuff, innit? So it's obviously going to take some sort of the goodness out of your body. If you're constantly abusing this and constantly doing that, I could see how your blood becomes weak, because I've always felt my blood was sort of weak and thin. I thought, why is my blood this way? Am I anemic? I have a condition that makes me mildly anemic, but I always wondered why. I always felt that my blood was thin and not strong, and because before constantly knocking them out and that, you just think it's normal. You don't realise the effects you're having. And prior to me getting on this journey, the month before, I estimated 14, I must have done it at least once a day the whole month of November, so And this guy was saying like it takes around 2 weeks to recover from one. So imagine how many years you've been doing it. Like, gee, the body must be in deficit, really. Like, according to this, then let's estimate, like, let's add it 20 times in November. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 40 weeks. You know, that's like almost a year, I think. Yeah, a year's like 50 something weeks in it. So 40 weeks to actually recover from 20 times of. See, if that's accurate, then gee, no wonder why you feel so drained and depleted after, you know, being on a binge like that. And you don't even realise it's a binge because you think it's normal. Oh, I'll do one in the morning, one at night, you know. Next thing you know, you've done 7 to 14 in a week. In a month, you've probably done, you know, imagine that. This is why I think people suffer health problems as well, you know. And you don't really realise the effects it's having on you. I also remember that time I went to donate blood as well. And I ended up having an episode where I felt like very lightheaded and like I was going to pass out. And, you know, back then, I must have didn't really realise about this whole no fat thing. So like up until that point, I was probably doing it a day, every day, a couple times a day. You know, you didn't really realise it. You wonder why over the years you become sluggish and you feel drained and stuff, and then you go to donate blood and your body just like, wow, losing this blood out of nowhere. And just think, if your diet's not on key as well, you're not going to feel your best, are you really? So it's been like almost, what, 9.5 weeks, coming up to 10 weeks on this journey, you see. And like when you read things like that, you realise, like, you know, it's still early days. You know, even though I've got like this sort of like this pent up, you know, this energy that's within me that I feel like it needs to be released, but you know, I've got to try and get that out in another way. And if anything, if it absolutely needs to be released, I'm sure it will come out in a wet dream anyway. Like I said, last night I almost had one, so there might be one coming on the horizon. No, the last time I had one was just over 2 weeks ago, you see. So, you know, the goal is to stay on this journey, keep going. You know, I do feel like become healthy, you know, probably my blood insides become healthier as well. You know, not constantly depleting myself. Like, this guy was estimating 110 millilitres each time you shoot. So basically, in a week, you did it 10 times, you've lost a litre of good blood. It's crazy when you think about it. You know, so remember, it's always good to, you know, put into perspective why you're doing this. Remember why you're doing it. You know, read up if you feel like, oh, you know, I'm just going to give up, relapse. You know, just read up about it. Get back on the track of reading up and seeing like why you're on this journey. You see, because if you feel like, you know, after a while the benefits sort of feel normal and you just feel like, oh, life's a bit boring, let me knock one out, then, you know, you need that motivation to remember why you're on this journey. And that's what mode I'm on now currently, to boost me forwards even more. You know, because if you forget about that and it becomes just like normal part of life, it's easy to just slip up back into bad routines. That's the same way when you go on sort of like a diet or healthy eating and you lose the weight and then you just think, oh, I've lost it now, so it don't matter if I start messing about and mucking about. And then you order that takeaway, you eat it, and then after you feel guilty. You know, at the time it felt like a good idea, but after you've had it and that, you know, you're going to feel guilty and down about it. So same thing with you know, playing with yourself and that. After you've ended the streak, you know, it necessarily doesn't mean it's a bad thing if you just end the streak and then start a new one after like what am I on, 2 months, over 2 months. You know, that wouldn't be frowned upon really, but you would still be disappointed, wouldn't you? You know, after getting so long and then just crushing the streak, you'll be disappointed. Because, like, you know, it's like sort of like an achievement, isn't it, really? Like, it's something you could say and people will be like, no way did you do that. Because not many people, I don't think, will be able to do it, to be honest. Like, especially in the initial parts are just like the hardest parts, and very few people actually manage to battle through and get past the initial week or two. So, you know, what I say to those sort of people is like, you know, battle hard, stick to it. First few weeks, yeah, they're going to be tough, when you get to around these sort of periods what I'm at, you know, it sort of becomes norm to stay on this path. And you know, obviously there'll come a time where it'll become normal and you just feel like, oh yeah, let me just go and porn again and do this and that. But then that's when you have to really focus back into it and remember why you're on the journey. So yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted to say now. So yeah, back in the forums, back reading, back refreshing the memory and remembering why I'm doing this. And so far so good, you know, enjoying the benefits it has rewarded me with, but I want more, you know. So I'm going to keep on going. The future is bright. Stay strong, people. See ya.